So the first full week of chemo is in the books, so one of 18 down. Um, as I said, I was going to record kind of like how I'm feeling and my impressions as I go through chemo. And anybody after, coming up afterwards will kind of get the same kind of, or any kind of advice I can offer. So before we start with that, I have lymphoma diffuse B cell. I had a PET scan this week and it came back that I have follicular cancer as well, and it's in it's in some of the areas of my back, my hip, my shoulder, but it's the same treatment that I'm already on, so there's really no change in the progress or prognosis. It's still the diffuse B aggressive cancer that we're fighting. And if you've known anybody that's had this type of cancer in the last 20 years, excuse me, they're probably on R-Chp. It's a regimen of 6 cycles. So basically, one of those drugs, vincristine, is replaced by this new drug called Pola-R-Chp. So now the regimen I'm on is Pola-R-Chp. Still six regimens, 3 cycles each. And the way I look at it is, week 1 is your chemo week. Week 2 is your deplete week, so you're going from 0 or from whatever white blood count cells you have down to 0. And then week 3 is you're replenishing those. And I'm in week 2 right now. So recap of week 1. I do not expect the same kind of reactions that I had in the initial chemo session. That was kind of bad, but it's par for the course. It's typical. So it was bad for me, but it's typical. A lot of people go through that. And by the way, there's 90,000 people will be diagnosed probably this year with some form of lymphoma, so it's quite common, unfortunately. But getting back to it, Tuesday was kind of just in a fugue, just sleeping, and also I was also starting to take prednisone. And let me tell you, if you've never taken prednisone, I feel bad for my kids. Like, I'm on 100 milligrams. I think it's a high dosage, but I have to take it for 5 days following chemo. But I was lit up. I felt like I was strung out. I'm like, I don't know how heroin junkies do it, because I just felt like my skin was crawling out of my body. I had a second opinion with the Mayo on the day 3 after chemo. Went down there, same prognosis. He's like, you have a good plan in place, stick with it, and that's what I was hoping to hear. But he was going through his credentials, and this is one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he's going through. I'm like, dude, just stop with the PowerPoints. Like, I literally said, I cannot take one more PowerPoint. Can you just tell me, get to the end of it? And everything went well. And then at the end, he's like, good shape stuff. Hey, you want to sign up for a study? I'm like, sure. So I had to go get blood, and it took about half an hour. But I was walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So yeah, me and prednisone, we're not friends. So that was actually one of the worst side effects I had. The nausea pills they give you worked really well. Doc said they'd work well. I stopped taking them Thursday. So now into kind of, besides just the, just kind of the strung out feeling you might get with prednisone and the steroid. I started on Wednesday where I started getting numbness in my fingers, a little bit in my tongue. I started being able to feel the joints in my feet. In my hands, everything started getting more sensitive. Started getting scratches. Like if I got a little scratch in my fingers, they don't heal up really quick. And now what's happening is my blood counts are going from pretty high down to 0. And then so that's unfortunate. But then over the weekend it kind of turned to pain, and I've had a little slight nosebleed. So I can certainly feel the effects of chemo on a daily basis. I was just sitting, it's 7 a.m. Right now, and I got up at 5. That's another thing. I've had insomnia. I finally got some drugs last night to try and see if that would work, and some muscle relaxant. But you just deal with it as you can. But you're standing. I was just standing in the dining room thinking, oh, I gotta go grab this and do a weekend review, and I just got fatigued. And that's another thing. You'll just be, everything's going along fine. All of a sudden, like, something hits, and it's just like, take a step back. And I think that's what when they say fight through the fatigue, I think that's what the docs are saying, fight through that kind of pain or that kind of tiredness. And the way the symptoms are really going to work, as I kind of think about them, The tingling and the numbness, that's probably going to be kind of very similar every cycle. So, you know, end of week 1, beginning of week 2, you're going to have this numbness, feel this, and then that'll go away. And then there might be some symptoms that accumulate over time. For example, you keep beating down your white blood cell counts, they're not going to keep going back up, or potentially they're not going to get up as fast as you'd like them to. So you may, you know, cycle 1, I'm feeling pretty good. By the time I'm cycle 6, you know, it could be really tired, really fatigued. But what I'm really hoping for is the numbness and the little pain in the fingers and stuff goes away. Let's see, start of week 2. I think at the end of this week, I can look forward to starting to lose my hair. Although I did do a shave job because I was losing it anyway. And I'll just cut this short, but or cut this long. I'll do like a weekly update, week in review, and then hopefully it's really just going to get into 6 cycles of week 1, week 2, week 3, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 1, week 2, week 3. And once that's done, I'll have 2 regimens of a single dose of chemo, and then come late October, November, I'll be done and I'll be cured. So I get to look forward to that.